To the viewers and subscribers, I am Audrey. Welcome to my channel, The Backstory. This is where you will be informed of what happened before each Sunday school lesson. The lesson for October 2nd, 2022 is entitled The Birth of Moses, based on Exodus chapter 2, verses 1 through 10. Also, I will address the question, what did Pharaoh's daughter say to the baby's mother? This is the standard agenda. I will share the backstory, read the lesson text, and offer a brief summary. The backstory. Let's begin. Joseph, Rachel's son. God had promised Abraham that his descendants would be numerous. Genesis chapter 25, verse 24 highlights that Joseph was one of his descendants who was taken to Egypt. Joseph ended up in a position of high regard in service to the Egyptian Pharaoh. Joseph's extended family was brought to live with him in Egypt. His descendants became the Israelites, and their numbers greatly multiplied. Exodus chapter 12, verse 40 asserts that Jacob's descendants were in Egypt for a total of 430 years. Concern of new Pharaoh. Genesis chapter 1, verses 8 through 10 conveys that the new Pharaoh was concerned regarding the growth of the Israelite population. The answer to the threat of the growth of the population were twofold: establish hard labor and place slave masters over them, as reported in Exodus chapter 1, verses 11 through 14. Declaration from Pharaoh. The Pharaoh's treatment increased when he declared, and I quote, "Every Hebrew boy that is born you must throw into the Nile." End of quote. Exodus chapter 1, verse 22. Now, despite this oppression, God blessed Jacob's descendants. Because of the shrewdness of Hebrew women, more Hebrew boys survived infancy than the Pharaoh intended. Today's lesson highlights the response of several women to the Pharaoh's unjust declaration. A seemingly small event, the birth of a child and his upbringing, served as the way by which God provided a just response to an unjust situation. The birth of Moses. Exodus chapter 2, verses 1 through 10. Key text. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son. When she saw that he was a fine child, she hid him for 3 months. Exodus chapter 2, verse 2. Verses 1 and 2. Now a man of the tribe of Levi married a Levite woman. Verse 2. And she became pregnant and gave birth to a son. When she saw that he was a fine child, she hid him for 3 months. Verse 3. But when she could hide him no longer, she got a papyrus basket for him and coated it with tar and pitch. Then she placed the child in it and put it among the reeds along the bank of the Nile. Verse 4. His sister stood at a distance to see what would happen to him. Verse 5. Then Pharaoh's daughter went down to the Nile to bathe, and her attendants were walking along the river bank. She saw the basket among the reeds and sent her female slave to get it. Verse 6. She opened it and saw the baby. He was crying, and she felt sorry for him. "This is one of the Hebrew babies," she said. Verse 7. Then his sister asked Pharaoh's daughter, "Shall I go and get one of the Hebrew women to nurse the baby for you?" Verse 8. "Yes, go," she answered. So the girl went and got the baby's mother. Verse 9. Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Take this baby and nurse him for me, and I will pay you." So the woman took the baby and nursed him. Verse 10. When the child grew older, she took him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. She named him Moses, saying, "I drew him out of the water." Brief summary. Both of Moses' parents were from the tribe of Levi, and we know from Hebrews chapter 11, verse 23, that they hid Moses by faith and were not afraid of Pharaoh's decree. When they could hide their child no longer, Moses' mother got a papyrus basket. Then she placed the child in it and put it among the reeds along the bank of the Nile. Moses' sister, likely Miriam, stood at a distance. She was not told to be ready to rescue Moses, but to report on his fate. Of course, it could be known. Pharaoh's daughter went down to the Nile to bathe. She saw the basket nestled among the reeds and sent her slave girl to retrieve it so she could see what was in this papyrus basket. The Egyptian princess felt sorry for the baby. Her kindness to Moses was unforced and most generous. She really went contrary to her father's wishes, for he had decreed the death of such babies. It was obvious that a nurse for the baby was essential. The offer made by Moses' sister was so welcome to the princess that it would seem to have overcome any questions as to what she was doing there. It was an interesting situation to be paid for doing what love would have been more than willing to do for nothing. Moses probably wasn't very old when he was brought to the royal court by his mother, since the Egyptians would believe that someone who was to be in the royal family would require extensive education. Pharaoh's daughter gave him the name Moses. How marvelous is God's providence that the preparation and care of the liberator of the Hebrews was given to the daughter of the one who sought to destroy them. The very work and plan for their extermination became the means of their emancipation. Question. What did Pharaoh's daughter say to the baby's mother? Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Take this baby and nurse him for me, and I will pay you." So the woman took the baby and nursed him. Thank you so much for watching. Please, before you leave, subscribe to this channel to help me to reach a larger audience as I try to extend my reach. And above all else, join me soon for the next backstory.